Good morning to you all. First of all, thank you for this kind invitation. I hope I could contribute to the success of this important meeting. And as we see, I am in charge of 100% public entity, Portugalete, with 50,000 inhabitants. Well, the municipality, they are the owner. We offer services, sports for our people, and this is what we do. We have several installations, facilities. We have 7 at Portugalete. We have swimming pools, outdoor activities, football places where you have the possibility of playing, and we have 13 people. The budget we have is around 4.1 million euros. We have part of the funds come from the town hall. The town hall is funding, and we want to promote sport at Portugalete, 50,000 people under the best possible conditions. And I'm going to convey a case study, a contract passed according to facility management parameters. And this is what we want to say. And it is what we want to say for the society. Thank you.
Bien. Mucho que ver tuvo la necesidad de revisar el modelo de gestión de la sociedad, viene motivada por la encomienda del ayuntamiento.
And here we have, as we said, for our society, we had been requested to construct this important building for all of us, and in order to make it possible to have a proper activity offered to our population, we have the scope 12,000 square meters, 20,000 square meters useful, and we are talking about 20 million euros. 20 million euros, 20.5 million euros. To give you an idea, here we have facilities where you have 1,000 meters of this pond. We have a spa, Salute per Acqua. We have fitness. We have a parking place, coffee place, restaurants, all sorts of facilities. We're talking about a very important project. After years of saving money, the town hall decided to refurbish the facilities. Since the very beginning, we wanted to make it happen, to give the possibilities accordingly to all citizens to enjoy sports with a financial approach to be kept in a sustainable way, with money coming from the activities. And also we had here, as I said, 1,000 square meters of a pond where you had to heat it. You had a lot of air, you have to have air conditioning. So energy protection is very important and is fundamental for the sustainability of this. And as I said, here we have everything, and we have here, since 2010, we decided to give it a thought, how to pass contracts. And here we have the model, how to pass contracts. We have a parking lot. If we wanted to do it directly, we would need then a person to just give tickets and to get the money and control. If it was to be subcontracted, we would need then to organize it. And finally, we tried to integrate it according to one contract, many services. The person that is just controlling the reception desk will control the parking lot and is able to do multitasking. So she controls also parking activities. Finally, the design will also condition the management model. And here we have the place, and that is the final result of this building. As I say, we have the model that was
descentralizado, teníamos un contrato para cada servicio, podíamos tener una empresa de limpieza operando en las
we have here people operating swimming pools and other people working at the football game facilities. You have here for the lifts and for the alarms. We have lots of possible suppliers with lots of people, and they were like overlapping. And in principle, we had the need of activities that were in the hands of many people. We have to be very careful and to manage this properly, and that was kept. The amount paid was kept monthly, and there was not variable retribution, and there was no supervision, no systematic supervision of the activities explaining the way the contracts were fulfilled properly. So it was not managed properly, and we had to revise the model. Accordingly, decisions ought to be taken properly. At the beginning of my presentation, I mentioned we were 13. We are 13 people. So what can I do with the people I have? What shall I do, and what are the must activities, and if not, what to be subcontracted according to partners? In our society, in our group where I work, we have people here. They are just, as we see, we have to work with them because they had steady jobs, so they are now doing different things with a lower energy consumption, perhaps more conventional. We are, for instance, talking about activities like football and other activities, and we had to promote the activities in a proper way, to establish communication with citizens, to establish the standards and to know about rates, what to be paid, to reach the population, but it was not possible for us to control the temperature of the jacuzzi or if the lockers had the proper temperature. So we know that we need comfort, but and I think the people knew we needed to enhance knowledge and to improve our results in search for excellence. So we had evolved towards a new model, as you see here, and this is what we have. We've mentioned we had centralized contracts to the extent that if a supplier could offer several services and operate at different facilities, we could pass a contract, a multi-purpose contract. So we were not dealing with many people, but it was a single person to talk to. We needed to transfer risks, to supervise that what we are contracting, we are receiving value for money, and we needed to look for ways to make the assessment and to have a person to talk to and to share our tasks properly. And then we're going to start now. We're going to start now with a maintenance contract at two different sites. This is what we have. And we're going to present here the sine qua non conditions to have a contract. We have to have clear-cut objectives, competences, availabilities, and we have to explain what we need. I asked for some external help. I started with facility management approaches at that time. I'm not an expert. I started with this, and I did love the idea of facility management, and this is why I wanted to change and to take this into consideration and to do it the best possible way, the way it had been done and at some other cases, some places. So to get the best of all the examples, we had established the call for tender, specifying what was necessary. If we wanted cleaning stuff, we had certain conditions, the frequency per site. If it was maintenance, we explained how many people in the morning, how many of them in the afternoon, how many of them during holidays, and then we evolved towards what we needed, defining how to reach our needs. Because the call for tender, you have to explain all details in the best possible way to keep it in a steady way and to achieve successful results. If it is not properly defined, then you have problems in the end. So you have to do it, and the scope of the contract on top of maintenance with the for all the facilities we had included here, cleaning, staff, waste management, the Legionella protection, so against Legionella, against infections, all the infection control aspects, and also supply. In order to heat up the water, we had to consider supply and the power required. So we needed from a supplier all the necessary strategies well defined to manage in an optimal way all the installations, trying to reduce the financial requests with the same level of comfort. So we have the life cycle of consumables and assets, because the supplier should guarantee that facilities were kept properly for citizens to enjoy our sport facilities in the best possible mode. And here we have, on top of this, when we talk about the life cycle of our assets, we had two different facilities. One that had been opened recently. We had here the management of what was guaranteed, and we had many steps, 3 different parts. It's not just making a phone call and talking to one person. Here you had to work to supervise everything, to supervise the project, that it did comply with what was requested, that what was established was really needed. We had meetings, long 2 years we had been getting together to management this, because practically all of our suppliers offered a warrant for 2-3 years. So we're fighting for enlarging the period where things are guaranteed to work, and we didn't know exactly how difficult it was until we started doing this. On top of this, we had to know the availability of services, the continuity, all systems, what we expect from suppliers, 98%, 100%. According to each case, we have the need for services, and it is important to give all the information to the supplier who wants to apply. They have to go to visit, to get the information, to do it properly, and to comply with what has been established in the contract, not to have problems after year 1. So we are at the public sector. We are within this open file with criteria. We started with 7,700,000 euros long, 5 years. We had 6 candidates. If we wanted them to apply and to design maintenance, cleaning, and energy management, it was very important to know the technical capacity, the technical skills. It was not the cheapest, but the best, the one who would give us quality, the one with the best organization, plan, and service. So it was Well, it was 19% less than this amount. There were people just with de novo ideas trying to reduce this, and as I think we have to, as you see, give the service today. If we have people here, we see that we have here that we have, and it is very important to have a booklet for assessment, for assessing everything, and it should be validated from both sides, because this is what we're going to pay. We're not going to pay for what we haven't received. We're going to pay for what we've got.
And the evaluation manual, handbook, must state things very clearly. So ultimately, it must define what we're going to pay to the supplier. In our case, it is an external agent who carries all the control and evaluation. This represents a certain percentage of the yearly fee, and the external company should be validated by both parties, by the contractor and the supplier. The manual includes a comprehensive methodology with a battery of indicators, which are exactly presenting everything is required: maintenance, cleaning, energy, life cycle indicators. Everything we have set up should be included in the handbook. So the indicator is described, the way to measure, who is going to, or the source from which the information is going to be obtained as to whether it is complied with or not, implemented or not. And there is a series of indicators, because which are different in weight, because not all the indicators have the same weight in the final assessment. I will try to explain this. The assessment manual is very complex, so the idea I want to convey is that there are implementation indicators. The supplier has indicated the ranges and of maintenance and the strategies for managing power, and then how they are going to manage the budget for replacement, or how they are going to report everything to the owners. There are indicators above which belong to the implementation block. For example, a cleaning activity indicator, if it complies, adheres to all the ranges established in gardening tasks, for example, or even energy management activities, that is, whether they comply with the savings offered. In our case, the one who won the bid was committed to very specific figures, whether here there was an indicator which determines that. And so the score, or the marks are given. It's not just what the company complies with the ranges which have been offered, but then it must be true. And so the visitor goes to the premises with a checklist, and our inspectors look at the floor, at the ceiling, at everything with indicators, and the same thing for maintenance. If there is a stoppage of the air conditioning, if there is warm water in the showers, etc., there is a whole world of indicators. And finally, and this is new, it's new for me, even this included the satisfaction of the final user. A series of surveys are distributed by the owners, validated both by the owners and the supplier. The user is asked, give your opinion about cleaning, lighting, general aspect, personnel availability, and the note and the mark has implications above. 7 in our case is 100% of implementation compliance. This is a highly summarized summary of one of the buildings, and there is another one here. We see installations of facilities, different facilities, the weights assigned to each block, in terms of availability, customer satisfaction, or client satisfaction. This is a percentage of implementation of 99.93 or 3, sorry. The payment will depend on the result. So 98% compliance is admitted. Below that, the payment would decrease. At the beginning, and as an anecdote, we found marks which were not as high as 98%, which was very demanding. And now there are times in which we don't pay 100% with penalizations or penalties. To conclude, it is fair to pay for what has been received. We should indicate this to our supplier because they should know that and they would help us improve our approach. Thank you very much. And here we are at your disposal.